pissed because he's got the over. He's going to come back irate.
He's going to come back and say something bad. Anyways, we are live. What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 45 of the Hot Stove Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Nunez, and I'm joined here by Mark and Austin in a blank window because Josh was here 20 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, and I quote, and I'll say this right now, he said, and I quote, "Daddy needs to go make a drink." He's back!
There he is.
There he is! Yeah! We could not have been any better timing. We're recording, by the way. I was just flaming you for being gone for 20 minutes.
I have a perfectly good explanation I can explain after the show.
Okay. You cannot explain it on the show, is what you're saying?
No, it doesn't really pertain to
sport.
Wait.
Okay, that'll come after the show. Anyways, Josh is here too. And okay, so this is the Hot Stove Podcast. The four of us are here. And we're gonna do a normal show, basically. We've got some trivia. We've got an NBA exercise to do. And then we've got our normal football shenanigans. But first, a couple of housekeeping notes. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hot Stove Pod. That's at Hot Stove Pod on Twitter. What else was I going to do? Make sure to listen to the radio show that happened earlier today. So Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. on WQAQ. Check us out. Earlier today, we broke down the World Series. Mark said something incredibly smart. Yes. Oh, yeah. And then we talked about other stuff.
It included a certain team not being based in Texas sweeping.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, that's insane, but okay.
That's not my actual prediction.
Okay. It's good to know. Good to know that you're telling your past self that's not your prediction, you know?
If I go on the radio show earlier today and say Braves and Ford.
Oh, Brian Johnson is back out to kick this field goal. Okay.
Brian Johnson.
That's the lead singer of AC/DC.
Are you Brian Johnson?
Me? No, I'm not.
He made it. Anyways, make sure to follow us on Twitter. I already said that. Here on the YouTube side, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. All those things. Also, I don't know if it's just going to be me and Mark. Somebody else is going to do it with us. I haven't even talked to these guys about it, so who knows, right? I'm just saying things. We're probably going to record a spooky After Dark episode.
Yeah.
To be released on Sunday, because Sunday is Halloween. So, it'll probably be an episode where, like, Josh might be there, Austin may or may not be there, and then Mark is going to be there, and then I'm going to talk about horror movies because I know horror movies, and then Mark is going to talk about, like, the 3 horror movies he likes.
That's a generous estimate, but
I'll talk about couples costumes you should be wearing this year.
And then
I will leave.
Josh is going to do his audio version of a Good Housekeeping article about couples costumes.
Exactly, dude.
So be on the lookout for that on Halloween. If we do record it, which we likely will, that's when I'll put it out, is on Sunday. So anyways, a couple things before we get started. FanDuel stuff. We'll be going over our lineups at the end of the show, but as of the last couple of plays, we've solidified the FanDuel standings for this week. So I can say that Josh came in last place, his second last place finish of the season.
Regression of the mean.
What'd you say?
A regression of the mean, is due to happen. I'm
right.
doing so good.
I was about to say you've only won once. You've won twice. Anyways, Mark finished in third, the spot in which he occupied so very often last season.
Most of the time, yes.
Austin finished in second for the third time this year.
Hey.
And I finished in first for the second time this year. So in terms of total wins, I have 2, Josh has 2, Mark has 2, and Austin has 1. It's been very evenly split over the course of the first almost half season. So we'll be back at it later in the show to talk about our FanDuel lineups, as we always do. Meanwhile, Geno Smith is getting eaten alive on this 2-minute drill.
Okay.
But before we get into our exercise, before we get into football, I do have trivia.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I got 2 trivia questions for you tonight. 1 baseball, 1 basketball. We'll start with the baseball one. And this one is the harder one of the 2. I'll be 100% honest with you. So the StatCast era. Mark, do you know when that started? 2015? 2015? All right. So we all know the stat barrels, right? Like how many total barrels you get. You understand? You following still?
I believe so, yes.
Yep.
Okay. A barrel is just based on StatCast data, a certain exit velocity and launch angle range, right?
Yeah.
Basically. It basically indicates perfect hard contact, loosely, or the best possible contact a player could have made.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. And this trivia was provided by friend of the show, Tim Gilliard.
Ayo.
8 players who have had 4 barrels in a game since 2015. I'll give you the 2 who aren't active.
Okay.
That is Steven Souza
Souza.
in 2016.
He's on the Dodgers roster.
Okay, well, doesn't matter. And technically still active, but not, Yoenis Cespedes in 2017.
So this is how many in a game?
4 barrels in a single game.
Good Christ. Just guys that rake. Since how long ago? I'm sorry.
Since
2015.
2015, there are 6
I've
active
actually-
players. I already gave you 2 of them.
Active.
So, knowing that you said this was going to be mostly Blue Jays trivia, I'm going to go with Vladdy.
There is not a single Blue Jays player. On this
Okay.
list. Okay.
JD Martinez.
JD Martinez did it in 2017 as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, because he hit 4 home runs. So I'm also going to go with Scooter Gennett.
Scooter Gennett is incorrect.
Damn, Scooter.
I
I'm
hit
gonna
4 home
go
runs in a game. That's
Broken bat home run.
One of them was probably lucky, according to StatCast. Giancarlo Stanton is not correct.
Aaron
rakes,
Judge.
dude.
Not Aaron Judge.
What? Consistent.
So I'll give you where these guys currently play. Not the actual teams, but I'll give you divisions because one of these guys doesn't play with that team anymore. But we've got a National League Central player, infielder,
Okay.
a National League East infielder,
Okay.
an American League West infielder, a National League West outfielder,
Mm-hmm.
and an American League Central outfielder.
Mookie Betts.
Incorrect.
George
Cody
Springer.
Bellinger.
No and no.
Francisco Lindor.
No.
Javi Baez.
Nope. The 3
Didi Gregorius.
not to let me finish. The 3 infielders I named are all corner infield.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that changes everything. Freddie Freeman.
Correct. Freddie
Damn
Freeman did it in
So quick.
2017.
Nolan Arenado.
Nope.
Oh.
Joey Votto.
Also no.
Eugenio Suarez.
I'll tell you this, one of the infield no, it's not him. I'll tell you this, one of the infielders is a teammate with Nolan Arenado currently.
Paul Goldschmidt.
It's not Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh. What?
I remember this game pretty vividly, actually, which is weird because I wasn't really watching baseball like that at the time.
Michael Kim.
No.
Isn't that his name? The second baseman.
Michael Kim.
Is that not a player?
I don't know as a player, and
You
also
think of like Colton Wong?
Oh,
Like,
I'm thinking of Matt Carpenter.
Okay, so you know what's
What?
funny? It's not Colton Wong, but it is Matt Carpenter.
God,
Yeah.
You just confused Matt.
Michael Kim.
Hear me out.
Oh, I was
Colton
thinking of
Wong.
Matt Carpenter.
Colton Wong was 100% in my mind the entire time, but I knew he was a Brewer. So I was like, he's not. I never was with Nolan Arenado, but
Yeah, correct. That is
Great.
correct.
all right, I'll take Matt Carpenter.
Matt Carpenter did it in 2016. I believe that was a 3 home run game in which he did that. I
Mhm.
want to say I remember that game.
Yeah, I think I remember him doing that.
Shohei Ohtani?
No,
Oh, I thought that was a little trick. He's an infielder, you know.
he's not an infielder.
He's an outfielder.
Wow, he pitches.
Oh, no.
Dude,
All right,
who
so
does
it's
he say?
the 3 remaining players are an American League West corner infielder, a National League West outfielder, and an American League Central outfielder.
Matt Olson.
No.
Matt
I will further. It's not the other Matt. I
God,
will further.
God.
The American League West infielder did it in
Anthony Rendon.
2017.
Okay.
The National League West outfielder did it in 2020. And the American League Central outfielder did it this year in 2021.
Yuli Gurriel.
No.
Jordan Alvarez?
An outfielder, so no. But what did you say something, Austin?
Is Anthony Rendon the answer?
Anthony Rendon is the correct answer for the American League West corner
Is it
infielder.
just DH?
DH
What
doesn't
does
count
Alvarez
as an
play?
infielder.
No, I'm saying, is that all he is? Is he
No,
just
he's an
DH?
outfielder.
I mean, they should be DHing him because at the ripe age of 24, he has bad knees. But no, he plays the outfield. Anyways, 2 outfielders, National League West, American League Central, have both happened within the last 18 months or something like that.
Is it bad that my refusal to pick anyone other than an Astros is going to kill me here?
Well,
It said no to
the
an
Astros
Astro.
are no longer an eligible team, so
Oh, that's
National
right.
League West and American League Central, they're not in the National League anymore. It's not 2006.
No, I thought they were in the AL Central like a fool.
Is
No.
it Franmil Reyes?
No, it is not Franmil Reyes.
Damn it.
Austin, Robbie Grossman.
It's not Robbie Grossman.
God.
Damn it!
Fucking go.
American League Central outfield.
Max Kepler.
No. So I'll say this. One of these players is very good, but we don't see it very often.
Eloy Jimenez.
No. The other one,
That's a great guess for that hint.
yeah. The other one isn't very good.
So it's Luis Robert.
No.
I believe it's Luis Robert.
No, it's Robert.
It's actually
I believe you're wrong. Yonder Calarayabi Blobisno.
what?
He's just reading names.
No, it's the guy for the Tigers.
Jamer Candelario? He doesn't play
Yeah,
the
that guy. He sometimes does. He
Okay, well,
played
it's
2
not
games in the
Jamer
outfield this
Candelario.
season, I think.
I'll take
Not
Akil
him.
Baddoo for 400.
It's also not Akil Baddoo. Doesn't play for the Tigers, okay? So we'll rule out
Why not?
Mr. Reyes as well, if anybody wants.
Is it Adam Engel?
Jesus
What about
Christ. No.
Benintendi?
No.
Is Soler an outfielder?
He plays for the
he's a
Braves.
Yeah. God, take it easy, Mark. I
No.
was getting there, all right.
Oh, yeah, you were
Jack
kidding.
Wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell is this guy doing? What are you driving from Chow? Yeah, dog.
I'm walking in the fucking parking lot, guys.
Sick.
How was Chow?
Well, Chow was like an hour and a half ago, so I mean,
What's I hate to break up the Chow content, but what was the other division? I'm abandoning the AL
The
Central.
National League West.
Okay.
Oh, that was an outfielder for the National League West, wasn't it?
Outfield. Oh, outfield.
Tommy Pham.
It is not Tommy Pham.
dude, what's
Trent
the trivia
Grisham.
question?
The trivia question is a player with at least 4 barrels in a single game since 2015.
Connor for sure got this. Have we said Charlie Blackman?
It's not Charlie Black.
Okay.
I got this one
Here
in the
we
back.
go.
I think he's eligible in the outfield.
Who are we talking about?
Ketel Marte?
Ketel Marte is not correct.
Oh, it's Ketel.
It is Ketel. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's a pretty good guess.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I know
what
how
about-
to pronounce people's names properly. My bad, Josh.
What about the Dodgers player or postseason MVP this year, Cody Bellinger?
Nah, Mark said. Mark,
True.
guessed
Mark
it.
did already say it, and he's not correct. I'll tell you, he doesn't play.
Oh,
Not a Dodger. Oh, Brandon Belt.
First baseman, but also not Brandon.
Corner
Belt.
in. Oh,
Mike
God
Yastrzemski?
Damn it!
Not Mike Yastrzemski.
I'm still thinking
I
corner.
couldn't name another. Mike Yastrzemski's the last guy I could name in that outfield.
No.
Oh, come on. You can
No.
give Lamont Wade Jr.?
No, wait a second. This is a trick question, isn't it?
I don't know. Thanks.
I'll be the one who says it. I know what position he plays. Everybody, calm down.
It's
Chris
not Chris
Bryant.
Bryant. No, it's not Chris Bryant.
All right, I'm back
Okay.
to the AL Central.
Yeah, I don't think I could even name another outfielder in that division.
I quit. I abandoned my wins. I'll give
Will
my
Myers?
points to Connor.
It's not Will Myers.
Now I certainly couldn't name another one.
All right, you got to give.
Sure.
You each got a few more guesses before I cut this off.
Did you hear my Trent Grisham guess?
I did not, but it's not Trent Grisham.
He played center field a few times this year. Fernando Tatis Jr.
No, it's not him.
What about Andre Ethier?
Andre Ethier. Yeah.
I
Interesting.
don't
No,
think
it's
he's
not
played
him.
since 2014.
Last time I watched baseball.
I don't even know if he played in the Statcast era.
That's the last baseball game I saw. Back when Andre Ethier was playing. I can't name any other players. I'm out of players.
Tell me that dude is in the fucking army.
Yeah, I'm struggling right now.
All right. Well, we'll call it right there. The National League West outfielder is Alex Dickerson.
Oh,
I knew it.
Who did it last year. And then the American League Central outfielder who did it this year is the guy who we don't see very often. That's Byron Buxton.
Yeah. I just thought of it right when you.
Alex Dickerson and Byron Buxton. What you guys did.
Byron Buxton, my ass cheeks.
Sure.
got him.
You mean Byron Bustin?
Ooh, kick this kid out of the call.
Maybe he
All right.
was thinking of Byron Bustin?
No.
No, nobody's thinking about that. No.
Wasn't thinking about that actually.
Sorry, I wasn't even thinking about that. That just came out of my mouth.
Next question. I got one more trivia question. Last night, Cole Anthony, second-year guard for the Magic, pretty good at basketball.
Yes.
He had a game last night in which he had 25 points, 15 assists, 5 rebounds, and 5 threes. There have been 5 other guards to do that in NBA history. I want you to name those 5 other guards.
Steph Curry.
Josh, you need a refresher on
Yeah, if you could.
25 points, 15 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 threes. Austin did get it right. Steph Curry is one of those.
Trae Young?
LaMelo Ball.
What'd you say, Connor?
LaMelo Ball.
It's not LaMelo Ball. What'd you say, Mark?
Trae Young.
Also not correct.
Point guard
All
specifically or guards?
Guard in general. It just so all but one of these are point guards.
Okay. No, he didn't pass.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Not Spencer Dinwiddie. What'd you say, Mark?
Allen Iverson.
No. Of the 4 remaining players, 3 are active.
Russell Westbrook.
Correct. Russell Westbrook.
Oh, 5 threes. Wow, big time shooter. Well,
How many shots did he take? 40?
Okay.
Probably.
Dame?
Nope.
Luca?
Luka Doncic is correct. Yep.
Okay. Is that the non-point guard, or does he count as a point guard?
He counts as a point guard.
Oh, sure.
My question is, what non-active player shot 5 threes in a game? Ray Allen.
Not Ray Allen.
Jimmer
Prime Ray
Fredette.
Allen.
Not Jimmer Fredette. I'll give you the guy the year this guy retired. That'll help you.
Ray Allen before he became a spot-up shooter.
No. Ray Allen for the Bucks, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Right,
The guy
slash-
who's not active most recently played in 2018.
2018.
Ray Allen.
No, it's not Ray Allen. Still not Ray Allen.
Hey.
What do you go getting chow or something?
Who the fuck's this guy talking to?
Ah, 28.
You got one active guard and one not active guard.
Chris Paul?
No.
Oh, that's a good guess.
I'll tell you, the active guard plays in the Eastern Conference.
Terrible.
The not active guard played his entire career in the Western Conference.
Tony Parker.
No.
Oh, great guess. Manu
Hey.
Ginobili.
Manu Ginobili is correct, Josh.
I said it's the only other non-point guard. That's why I went to him.
Manu Ginobili is correct.
You're
Ben
welcome.
Simmons.
You're welcome for leading you to Manu Ginobili.
Oh, I got it.
Thank you.
I got it. It's Kyle Lowry.
It's not Kyle Lowry either.
Is it probably the greatest player to ever play in Madison Square Garden? Kemba Walker? Come on
I
now.
was confused as to where he was going with that one, but no, it's not him.
Kyrie?
Nope.
Oh, that's right. You said plays.
Good clarification.
That's true, but no, it is not.
I
Kyrie.
definitely
Oh.
didn't guess
Oh,
Kyrie just
Ja-
like to make the joke.
James Harden.
James Harden is the other
Oh.
one.
Oh.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Another one where Mark walks me to the promised land.
Josh, wipe the floor. Josh got 4. You got 4 of them, right?
At full.
Who got Steph?
Everyone but Steph. Awesome.
I got Steph.
Austin got Steph. Okay.
I didn't get a
I'm
single
such
point tonight.
An NBA wizard.
Damn. Mark didn't get a single point tonight.
And I'm
Eat
still
that,
down 50.
Mark.
I think
That's
this is
great.
like year 2 or 3 of the show, and I still haven't gotten a single point.
That's not true, Connor. You have actually you
my
don't have
dad-
any listed under the 2021 points. You definitely had
Yeah,
points last
exactly.
year.
Yeah, my dad got me that point last year.
No, your
That's-
dad had his own singular point. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Don't disrespect Pat's
shout out to
points.
Pat.
Can't steal his points. You
Yeah, no.
bastard.
Let it be known right now that Adam Pollenberry currently has more 2021 points than Connor Furber.
That's brutal.
Shout out Adam.
Mark,
That,
Mark,
Disrespectful.
Mark has more 2021 points while not on the podcast than Connor does.
This is true.
Dude, this is just so disrespectful for all I do.
It's true.
What, join every once in a while, middle of chow, and start screaming about something?
Hey man, that's what I'm here for.
All right. All right, we're gonna move on to this little exercise that we've got. I sent it to the chat earlier today. I saw it on Twitter. Thought it would be fun to talk about. It was something I saw on NBA Retweet, the Twitter account that I follow. And it's just a bunch of things that you talk about. It's favorite player of all time, player you genuinely dislike, a player that grew on you, the most overrated player, and the most underrated player. I'm leaving the GOAT out of it because it's a stupid conversation to have, and I don't want to talk about it.
I figured that was. I didn't even write one down.
Let's have it.
But
Let's have it.
Didn't even
but-
write one down.
figured I ask. I figured we could talk about it. We've gone over this whole favorite player bit a couple times before on this show,
Mhm.
admittedly. So, how about you guys? My favorite player is Vince Carter. Vince Carter was the first basketball player I ever became a big fan of. He's my guy. Dwyane Wade, also my guy.
Yeah.
the Heat fan, but Vince Carter
What the
certified.
fuck are we? I'm sorry. What the fuck are we talking about? This is an audio medium, you jackass. This is impossible. God.
Jesus.
All right, go on.
Anybody else who wants to tell me their favorite player of all time?
Favorite player was really hard for me. I still haven't written one down. I guess it's just because I haven't really watched basketball enough to guess. I'll say Kevin Garnett, though, because 08 Celtics brought me into basketball, and that dude was the shit. So, I'm going to say KG.
I'm getting water.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
The head on the thing always gave me the...
Show me Kevin Garnett.
I'm gonna mention two.
Go for it.
Because the real answer is Larry Bird. The answer in my heart is Jimmer Fredette.
Yes. I also had a hard problem. I watched more college basketball. I was like, do I say Kemba? Like Kemba, when I was like, I watched Kemba's run, and I was like, I loved that. I was like, that's really brought me into the game. I couldn't decide, but I went KG.
But yeah, so
Austin?
if we're going strictly NBA, it's Larry Bird, and then it's Jimmer.
Love it.
I got a lot of favorite players. This is the problem. But I took it as a favorite player who's also the best, because why not? And that'd be Kevin Durant, just because he's just a unicorn, and it's just amazing watching him play.
Yeah, it's true. It's fun watching Kevin Durant with Austin, because every time he gets the ball, Austin goes 2 points. It's 2 points right there.
It's true. I say it every time he touches the ball. I used to say it for Sean Livingston too. Every time he touched the ball.
It's true. That's very true. That's true. Because the 3 times Sean Livingston would touch the ball every game,
He would just sink a mid-ranger.
Yeah.
I swear he shot like 90% for his career.
Yeah, it was insane. All right, next one. Who's a player that you genuinely don't like? Player that you don't like, and Mark, why is it LeBron?
Oh no, I put Kobe.
Oh,
Wow.
you got to get up.
Oh, here we go.
That's messed up.
Listen, I've said it before. I hate Kobe so much because I hated seeing him play against the Celtics.
I own it.
It was mainly just like, I know every time he played the Celtics, it was going to be 38 points, and I was none too pleased.
You could have gone tasteless. He kept it classy.
Yeah, I'm keeping it classy, and that's why I hate Kobe so much, is just because the pure murdering of my Boston Celtics he did for well over a decade.
Sure, you did do that.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh?
I mean, I took it pretty literal as in now in terms of like who I just dislike, and got to be Ben Simmons. This stuff is just hilarious to follow at how absurd this man is. So I'm gonna write Ben Simmons. Pretty obvious reasons. No need to talk about it.
Austin. Tell
me,
because you already told me what you wrote down.
What was that? Sorry.
Player you don't like. Tell me what you wrote. Tell the people what you wrote down.
I wrote ? LOL, as if this is even a question. Of course, it's LeBron James. I mean, what's there to like about LeBron James? Ever since the day he went on national TV and made millions of people watch him leave the city that loved him, I knew that he was going to become the absolute biggest drama queen this sport has ever seen.
That leave a bad taste in your mouth?
And now today, I even think people who like LeBron can't stand him now. Like the things he does now. It's just
we've talked about it in the show, like all the things you've said right there about him, like the decision. That's all come to roost for me now that he plays for the Lakers. I've talked about it a bunch of times. Like, to me, there's 4 eras of LeBron. There's Twink LeBron, there's Villain LeBron, there's Tank LeBron, and then there's Hollywood LeBron. And Hollywood LeBron is one of the least likable people in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood LeBron is terrible. Any version of Cavs LeBron is a great LeBron.
Yeah. And obviously, Villain LeBron in Miami is fun for me as a Heat fan, because that 4-year stretch is one of the best 4-year stretches you'll ever see in NBA history. And it was a true Death Star that rolled through the NBA for a few years. You just watch highlights of that team, and it's just funny that on a nightly basis, it was like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
With like the alley-oops that they were pulling every single night. It was insane. Anyways, my answer, and it should be no surprise to anybody on this stupid show, is that my answer is and forever will be, regardless of how many times you tell me he's good, I'll just never believe it, and that's Draymond Green.
Yeah.
He was a tough omission for me in this category. I fucking hate that guy.
At this point, it's just on principle. Like, I don't really have.
I think he sucks.
I don't really
bad.
have much of a reason to dislike Draymond as a person, or even really as a player. But I'm just it's one of those things where I'm so far dug in right now that you're never going to pull me out of it.
Yeah.
I've dug my heels in too much. I will just never.
I don't know. You ever watch that guy dribble a basketball?
You ever watch that guy put on a backpack and try to shoot? Anyways, I don't want to be too angry, right? Let's get into more positives. Mark, who's a player that has grown on you?
This is a guy that
like.
It's another like guy that's no longer in the NBA, but he grew on me as he got older, and it's Dwyane Wade. I really hated Dwyane Wade when I was like younger because I hated the Heat. And I still hate the Heat. But as I like got to know more about basketball, he's just a really nice guy, and I really like everything about him. So it like even post playing career, he's grown on me more, and I appreciate Dwyane Wade more than I did.
Yeah,
he's the GOAT. So
that's solid. I think my answer might shock a couple people, but my player that's grown on me is Steph Curry. You know, I now root for Steph Curry. Not only as a gambler to see him hit 30 points a night, but I enjoy that man. You know, he's a crafty little son of a bitch.
I remember. I'm sorry to keep interjecting, but I remember like senior year of high school, freshman year of college, like 2016, 2017. Josh was like the poster guy of like boomer take, as in like Steph Curry's ruining basketball, like that take.
Yes.
And it's good. It's good to see him.
Now, while I hold that he still has ruined college basketball.
Yes. Yes.
I like him.
Here's my rebuttal to that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you argue that in that sense, in the college game, that's more Jimmer Fredette's fault?
Fair. I think it's a transcendence into the that it actually works at the next level that people are like, oh, we keep doing this.
I will take zero Jimmer slander on this program.
Guy sucks. I don't know what to tell you. All right.
I mean,
fuck you. That guy. I love Jimmer Fredette so goddamn much.
Austin, who's a player that's grown on you over the years?
This one shouldn't be a surprise in terms of just the general public has probably turned on him too, is Russell Westbrook.
I'll piggyback because Russell Westbrook's also my answer, actually.
But just I'm a big I get mad at the media more than I do actual players. And the way the media was portraying this guy as like the greatest player of all time when he was getting his triple doubles was irritating me to a point that I just started hating him. And then when you actually see him play, I mean, the guy just loves basketball. I mean, there's really there's nothing to hate about him. There's actually zero things to hate about him.
Yeah. So the thing with me about Russ is like that too. Like when he won his MVP and he did that for the first couple of times, like I kind of fell into the narrative a little bit, like calling him like, oh, he's a stat stuffer who's not actually that good, blah, 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 blah. And since then, I guess I've just kind of matured a little bit as a basketball fan. And particularly with his last year in Houston, in which to a point, he still had the best season of his career, efficiency-wise, that year in Houston, partially because he wasn't handling the ball as much as he was in OKC. But, last year in Washington, and now the fact that he's already been labeled as the pariah for why the Lakers are 1-2, apparently.
It pisses me off so much.
Yeah, he's the scapegoat. Easy scapegoat.
We talked about this the other day, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I don't know. I like Russell Westbrook a lot as a character. You know, and I've made the joke a trillion times, and I still think it's very funny. But also kind of sad when you think about it on a macro level. But Russell Westbrook plays every game like his dad told him that he was going to be there, and he never showed up to the basketball. And I'd like to clarify, that has nothing to do with race. Okay?
And if you laugh because of race, you're a piece of shit.
It's a tortured metaphor, all right?
It's just a funny joke.
That being said,
It's just a good joke.
My point still stands in the sense that I think that Russell Westbrook plays every game like he has the world's largest chip on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's exciting to watch. All right. This one was the most difficult for me to come up with, especially because I don't quite have an answer still. I think I have an answer. I didn't write it down because I couldn't really think of it. But Mark, who is the most overrated player in the NBA?
Right now was a really tough answer for me to come up with. So I went with someone that I hate all the positive attention he gets, and that's PJ Tucker. That guy stinks at basketball, and everyone was singing his praises during the finals and during the conference finals.
Maybe I went to a different level, but this seems a little low on the
No,
rating scale.
it's funny because I know what Mark is talking about, and I find it really funny. Like,
everyone was talking about him like he was the second coming of Dikembe Mutombo.
but he's really
on
good
defense.
defensively. My favorite part about
don't
PJ Tucker, my favorite thing about PJ Tucker is that he's basically, there's a couple of different demarcations of this one person in the NBA, but he's Patrick Beverley, but good.
I would take Patrick Beverley over him in a heartbeat.
You'd be wrong. Yeah, to be perfectly candid with you, Patrick Beverley's not that good.
Patrick Beverley knows how to do things when the basketball is in his hands.
Yes.
Unlike that,
Yeah.
unlike
I
that
hate
joke
players like
PJ
PJ
Tucker.
Tucker. PJ Tucker's like Draymond Green to me. Like, you put the basketball in their hands, they look lost on the basketball court. It's like, that's the whole sport, man.
It's not what I need from PJ Tucker.
People were singing this guy's praises, and he averages like 4 points a game
He's
in
the
like
best. That's all you need.
in like 28 minutes. It's unbelievable how high people are on PJ Tucker. All time though, it's Jerry West. That guy stunk.
Mark came with a hot take a few weeks ago, and he told me that if Jerry West played today, he'd average 2 points a game.
I stand by that belief.
What about
Jerry
Fat
West was
Lever?
terrible. Fat Lever,
Matt Lever was nice.
he was that dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Fat Lever was that dude.
Did you guys see that that Avery Bradley became like the 11th player in NBA history to accomplish the Snell the other day?
I don't know what that means.
love
Zero,
that.
zero, 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 zero,
Correct.
zero.
0 total stats in over 25 minutes of gameplay.
Did he touch the ball?
I don't know. He played 28 minutes and didn't record a single stat the other night.
I love Avery Bradley. That guy's great.
A
Dude,
move
that
we are
guy
now calling
sucks.
Snell. Oh, I'm sorry, at least 20 minutes.
The Snell after Tony Snell?
Right. Tony Snell, like 6 years ago or so, played 28 minutes, didn't record a single stat.
It's one of my favorite
Avery Bradley.
graphics.
Yes. Avery Bradley 2 days ago on Friday. On Friday against the Sun, played 21 minutes and failed to record a single stat. Anyway. Yeah. What we're going to do. Oh, Josh, who's your answer?
I think this might get some head turns for sure. I think maybe people on the call here might not appreciate this answer, but my overrated player is KD. I think the dude is way too hyped
Boo!
for doing nothing. What has he achieved? He has like glorious players around him all the time. He's a great scorer, but he does nothing. I mean, I want to see this guy carry a team LeBron style. He hasn't
This is
done it.
objectively
He can't
bad
do
thing,
it.
but
He's not
The
good.
dumbest narrative of all time.
Yeah.
What?
Play with bad players on purpose so that you can strut your ego.
I can't prove his worth. I don't know. Hasn't proved. Cares. He can score
Anyway,
basketball. He's 7 feet tall.
I mean, this is just a bad take.
This is the worst take you've
guess.
ever given on this show.
That's
This is
not,
a 7.
I'm almost.
that's
This is a
not-
7-footer who could probably run 100 meters before you could run 50. How
How
about that, fatty?
Who cares? And he stinks. Who cares?
7 foot tall and could cross you over so that you'd break both your ankles.
He's good. He's just not championship level caliber. I mean, we
He's
want
won 2 Finals MVPs.
what? He could barely carry the Olympic team. He stunk. He's not a leader. He's no good.
Can we move on? Austin.
And he's a
This is his
crybaby on
dumbest
Twitter.
take.
Austin.
Kick him out of the
Dude,
ball.
his Twitter is so funny now. The last
It is
2
hilarious.
years,
Dude,
he's been
Oh,
the
yeah.
best.
I'm very
Twitter.
happy that Kevin Durant's decided he has time for everyone else now because it's really funny. Honestly, I wish more players did that shit. This is what I was talking about. Like I just want players to be themselves, and that's who Kevin Durant is. So cool. Like I'm happy that he doesn't feel.
I'll
the need to
tag him in my quote tweet of the show.
I'm happy that he doesn't need to use burners anymore to do that shit. And yeah, this tweet that'll get 2 total engagements will absolutely get Kevin Durant's.
I hate you.
What? Why are you sucking KD? What do we got to suck, guys? Just because they play and they're good? Stinks.
Shut up.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Austin, who's your pick?
My pick, I'm on Pistons Twitter all day, so I see it all the time. My pick's Cade Cunningham, and he hasn't even played a minute in the NBA, and everyone thinks he's the savior of the Pistons, and the Pistons are on the up and ups. This kid is gonna come out and stink his first season. He's gonna look like me. It would be me going out there and playing. It won't matter. That's how bad he's gonna be. And it's not even about how good or bad he is going to be. It's about how people think that this Pistons team is going to be good just because this god is going to touch the floor. But it just calm down.
So
my argument.
So far, we have a guy who hasn't played a minute in the NBA, the greatest scorer of all time, and PJ Tucker as our overrated players.
Well, the 4th overrated player is the flat earther because my answer is going to be Kyrie Irving.
That's fair.
That was close for me.
It's like so there's a reason I hate having these conversations. Loosely speaking, I think over the last few years, we've kind of been shown Kyrie's hand in terms of his superstar potential, ceiling, especially, I don't know. Like, this is my thing is like, in my opinion, he's not quite good enough to overcome having and he doesn't have the play style to overcome not having other great players around him.
Mm-hmm.
But also on the flip side, he's shown ever since LeBron left for the second time, he's shown an inability to work well with other great players around him. Like Boston didn't work with him and Jason Tatum. Brooklyn worked to an extent, and it's hard to tell with Brooklyn because the fact that they played a total of like a dozen games with the three of them last year. But I don't know.
I still don't think he knows he's the 3rd best player on that team.
I think he thinks he's the best.
I think there's a good shot he could be.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
You're not
All right.
allowed to have this conversation.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I've seen a bunch of people trying to campaign that Kyrie should be on like the NBA 75 list. And I don't
It's that game-winning shot.
I don't get it. Like I don't. Like I don't
Dwight Howard deserved it much more than Kyrie Irving.
know. Oh, 1,000,000,000,000%. We will not talk about this on this episode.
Did he
'cause I don't
get
want to talk for
excluded?
another hour. Yeah, Dwight Howard's not on it.
Oh, wow.
How's this for you? Dwight Howard and Ben Wallace, 7 combined Defensive Player of the Years between the two of them, aren't on there. But Anthony
Ben
Davis,
Wallace is like the only player to win 4
Anthony
in a
Davis
row.
is on there.
yes,
Mhm.
Won 4 ever. Anthony Davis, you want to talk? It was between KD and AD because both those guys are just good players who get all this championship quality shit for nothing.
okay,
do
I'll
nothing.
give you that with Anthony Davis. Kevin Durant is again objectively wrong, but here's the thing. I don't want to have this conversation for a million years, so we won't do the whole bit. But I have mentioned it before that I find it hard to talk about players in that kind of spectrum when there's so much career to be had left with someone like Anthony Davis, who he's like 8-9 years in the league right now. Damian Lillard is like 8 years in the league. He's on the list, right? I don't understand how, for Damian Lillard, for example, guy probably halfway through his career, let's say, right? I'm not 100% sure how you could justify putting him on the list when there's so much career left to be had instead of a guy like Tracy McGrady, instead of a guy like Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
The fact that Dwight Howard was left off blows my melon.
8 All-NBA teams.
Blows my melon. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time All-NBA selection, 5-time All-Defense selection. His resume speaks for itself. Like, I don't get it. That's one I really don't get. I found it weird that all 50 of the players from the first team 25 years ago made it. Not a single player was removed.
Yeah.
Even though there's a few guys who I was talking about it with a couple people earlier. There's a few guys on there that I legitimately looked at the name and said, who?
Can I take a guess at one of those?
Yes.
Mark, maybe you'll have to tell me who the hell is Hale Greer?
Hal Greer was good.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everyone knows
Paul Azirin or Ryzen or whatever the hell his name was.
Good one.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
He was one of them that I thought of. I was like, that guy played from 1950 to 1961 and averaged 23 points a game. Like, he was a good player in his time. But at the time he retired in 1961 was the third third on the all-time scoring list. Like, which sounds cool, but like also it was 1961. Like, this we are 60 years removed from that. So there are players on that list, to me at least, who I said it earlier today to a couple people in my class, where they were great and very influential in their time, but I think history has passed their legacy by.
I gotta say, Dolph Shays should not be on the list.
There's of course guys who history has passed their game by. Like, history has passed the game of someone like Jerry West, for example.
Yeah, shouldn't be on the list.
Shut up. It's a comparatively speaking, like a rudimentary game to what we know as basketball today.
Yeah.
But there's other guys like him, like Dolph Shays, is that who you said? Who I think, even more so than the game having evolved, the story of basketball has evolved as to where their legacy is less meaningful than it was 25 years ago. Is my point. So I don't quite understand why they didn't remove people. And I get that it's not necessarily the nicest thing to do. Say, oh, you made the list 25 years ago, but this time, fuck you. But
yeah.
You know,
I think you're right. Certain times you got to be like, did the story of basketball can be told without that guy? Jerry West, you need to tell the story of basketball. Mark, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Just say the logo is some random guy. I don't give a shit.
We can change the logo to a good player.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. That's a great idea.
Here we go.
But yeah, so that's my whole bit with the list. I'm glad that they righted a couple of wrongs from the original one. In particular, or there were two players that didn't make the list in 1996 that should have, and that was Bob McAdoo and Dominique Wilkins. Neither of them were on the list in 1996.
Dominique not being on the list in 96 is a crime.
And have since been added in this one, so that's good. You know what's funny to me? And this is the last thing I'll say on it. We were talking about this today. Did you know Shaq was on the original list?
Yeah, it was like his 4th year in the league.
It was his 4th year in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about.
Because people were just like, oh, wait, this guy is
this
guy's Bill Russell that
what
can
I already
score.
said about Damian Lillard or whatever. I think had you brought me back to 96, I would have had the same opinion. Like, this dude's 4 years in the NBA. I can't in good faith say he's one of the 50 best players of all time from only 4 years in professional basketball. Obviously, in hindsight, it's whatever, because Shaq is one of the 10 best players to ever play or whatever. But I just thought it was. I thought it was really. I didn't know that he was on the 96th list. I thought it was really interesting that they put him. Yeah, he was in his 4th season in the NBA, and they they already said that he was one of the 50 best players in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Do you imagine if Luka was on this list?
Yeah, that's basically what it's like.
Yeah.
That's basically like them putting Luka Doncic on the 2021 list.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're 50 minutes in, so we're going to skip the last one. Unless anybody had any pressing they wanted to mention for most underrated.
Just say him. We don't have to talk about him, right? Just say him.
Yeah, who was it?
My underrated player was Bradley Beal.
He was almost my overrated.
Guy's just an elite level scorer, bro. He doesn't get the recognition he deserves.
He
gets
some guys.
Every single piece of recognition.
I guess that matters for Bradley Beal, but not for Kevin Durant. Okay.
That's the point.
Mine was Homer pick. It's Marcus Smart.
Gross. Well, mine was also a Homer pick. Mine was Zach LaVine / Wilt Chamberlain.
/ Wilt Chamberlain.
If we're going all time, it was John Stockton.
You know what's funny? Zach LaVine was actually almost my pick for overrated player.
Oh my god!
Everybody thinks he sucks.
I don't think he sucks. I don't. Did anybody
else
watching SVP right now? For this bad beat section.
Yeah, this is
the Akron game.
I was watching the Portland game, but I realized quickly that total was dead, and so I switched back to SVP.
Austin, you were right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Austin said before you came back that you were going to come in complaining about the over that game.
Yeah, well, it's in my defense, it's just that Portland's getting blown out. If Portland was competitive in the game, the over probably should have hit. But without Norman Powell, they're not competitive.
Norman Powell is a candidate for the most
underrated
players in the NBA. Yeah.
I might as well turn around and stick my booty on my cam to describe you, Norman Powell.
My pick ended up being the one I wrote down was DeJounte Murray.
That's sweet.
But I think I could also make a case that Jonas Valanciunas is the most underrated player in the NBA.
That's a good one.
I like that.
I'll leave it at that. All right. We're already almost an hour in, so we're not going to do 2 of them. We'll each give 1 of our believe it or not statements for NFL Week 7. That's what we're going to transition into now. I'm bad with transitions. We're doing this podcast for over a year, and I still haven't quite figured out how to do that. Isn't it crazy how we're 45 episodes into the podcast version of this show?
It's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Can I mention one more thing on the over?
We've been doing.
Dame's
What's that?
0-6 from 3.
That's unfortunate. See, that's just unfortunate.
That doesn't help.
Yeah.
We've done this show for over 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
We got to come up with it's the longest running. It's most certainly not, but we should say it's the longest running collegiate sports radio show ever.
Well, you know what's funny? I did do the bit while we were on WNYO that it was the first 2-hour show in NYO history, which was not true, but I said it for over a year on air.
Mm-hmm. We also we were the best, worst, best sports show on WNYO.
That's true. I forgot about that bit. Because I said we were the best, and then I got burnt out, so I started saying that we were the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And then we became the best, worst, best sports talk show on radio. Okay, anyways. Maybe this year for the Stovey Awards, which will be coming back, of course.
Of course.
We'll do maybe a look back on some of our favorite hot stove moments.
That was one of our first episodes as a podcast, wasn't it? Was the
Stovey Awards? It had to have been within the first 10 or so.
Yeah.
Because I remember we all dressed up.
Yeah, and I wore a bow tie that was way too small.
Yeah.
I wore the Chicago Bears bow tie. Yeah. All right, anyways, while I'm looking this up, somebody give me a believe it or not for week 7.
Austin, you want to start?
Why are you throwing me under the bus?
I just think you're going to come out hot,
Can someone just fucking say something?
Yeah, Austin, just go.
All right, here we go. Believe it or not, the Eagles are going to have 2 top 5 picks in the NFL draft.
Yes, I believe that. They have their own Miami.
The
and
Dolphins.
Houston, right?
And the Colts.
The Colts. So they got it. I mean, they've got it. Even though the Colts should, in theory, be riding a 4-game win streak. But what was the one game they lost in that span? I forgot what it was. Was it the
Ravens comeback
Ravens game? Yeah. But no, I believe that the Dolphins. I was talking to Mark before you guys hopped in. We were talking about the Lions and how people were making fun of the Lions because Jared Goff said that they were much better than their record showed or something like that. And Jared Goff is right, by the way.
Well, Jared Goff's not better than his record.
Oh, Jesus.
By the way, the 2020
Team might
Stovies,
be.
the 2020 Stovies was episode 14.
Yeah, I just found it as well.
Yeah.
I also looked at it. January 6th.
So the Lions are basically like the best winless team I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Now, with an asterisk thrown in there in the sense that they should be 2-5, except they lost back-to-back weeks on miracle field goals. In the most base sense of the word miracle. But nonetheless, I was telling Mark about how, like, as it stands right now, which rebuild do you feel better about, Detroit or Miami?
In terms of like winning, like soonest.
No, in terms of like how well it's gonna go.
Well, if I wasn't concerned that Miami might just throw caution to the wind and actually trade for Deshaun Watson, I'd say Miami. But because I fear of that, I'm gonna say Detroit's going better. I don't know that Jared Goff's the long-term answer, but I think the team there. And Dan Campbell, it's like kicking and screaming. I was trying to look it up. Dan Campbell's got balls. That guy is one of the most electric coaches in the NFL. I mean, he's like a man's version of Brandon Staley, right? I mean, this guy, he's electric. 2 fake punts and an onside kick all in the first quarter. Guy's electric.
So
I like.
It's true.
I
Not
told
that I
Mark
dislike Brian.
that my answer to that is Detroit because partially it's because of where they are in the timeline. Detroit has obviously just started this rebuild, but in the sense that they started it well. The team sucks in terms of the actual roster, and they got a bunch of draft capital and like 2 guys that they're tied to monetarily for years down the road. One of them being Jared Goff, one of them being arguably the best center, if not one of the best centers in football, in Frank Ragnow. Miami is at the point where they should be getting good now. We're like 3 years in. And they should be like being good. But what I fear about Miami is that they've allocated their resources into very concentrated places. Will Fuller and the 2 cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And putting all of that money in Byron Jones and Xavier Howard has made it so they have a front 7 that doesn't compete with good offensive lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure Taco Charlton's starting down there.
You know what I mean?
That guy's dude.
Exactly. So the goodwill that I had like 2 years ago when I said that like Brian Flores should have gotten Coach of the Year votes because even though they were terrible, they were competitive, and I don't take that back. It should have at some point during this process within the last 12 months, it should have started to turn into wins. Now, I will say, I'm sick and fucking tired of the stupid Tua's playing poorly narrative that's going on this season.
I don't think he's playing that bad.
He's playing really well.
Yeah.
For the last 2 weeks.
Especially when you remind yourself that this was his 12th full game that he played it. He's a rookie, basically. He hasn't completed a full season. 12 games. That's what we have to look at. And he just came out in 4 games. I think the difference between Detroit and Miami right now is we said Detroit could have won 2 more games. Where the games you look at Miami that have lost, like Atlanta, they should have won.
To be fair, Detroit should have won both of the games that came down to that field. Really? You're telling me they shouldn't have won a game in which Justin Tucker hit a 68-yard field goal?
But it just seems laughable to me to say that they should have beaten the Ravens, no matter what it came down to. The Ravens clearly played beneath the Ravens.
I think it was the Minnesota game that they lost on the other field goal. Also.
Yeah, the Minnesota game was actual bullshit. They should have won that. I give you that.
And they also should have won the Ravens game.
Yeah, I guess. But like the Ravens are better than that.
No, I know what you're
Ravens
saying.
Should never. Yeah. But in the terms of like I expect it out of Miami, whereas
and Miami is the same way because it's literally the same thing because they should have beat Jacksonville last week or 2 weeks ago or last week because they didn't get a bye, and they should have beat Atlanta. You're right.
Yeah, these are just games that like going into their schedule or even going into the game, you're like, oh, Miami should win this one.
And they played well enough to win.
Yeah.
They put themselves in a situation to win, and then what happened? Their defense lets them down in the 90-second drill or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm sick and tired. I got when Tua threw an interception on Sunday, I got a Bleacher Report notification. Tua's miserable season continues. What miserable season?
Yeah,
He's played 3 fucking games.
In one of the
2 of them have been great.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Dynasty podcasts I listened to, they were talking about like, yeah, this just isn't the right fit for him. He'll have to go somewhere else. And I'm like, okay, fine. Give him somewhere else. I love him. Like, he's a good quarterback. I'll take a better scenario. I hope the Texans trade for him. Let Tua go somewhere else.
They're not a better scenario than
much worse.
Well, no, but I guess not. But
the Texans,
I'll trade for Brandon Cooks right now.
Have no direction moving forward.
Well, they have 3. If they can get 3 first-round picks, I mean, maybe that's how they change their course.
Yeah,
I don't know, dude. That's a whole nother thing. That's funny as hell.
But
that's really fun.
I don't even remember how we started this. Was it Austin?
I was talking about the Eagles getting 2 top 5 picks, so we talked about the Dolphins.
And I said that I believe it.
I also believe it.
I believe it.
Cool. Mark, what's yours?
The Cincinnati Bengals are the best team in the AFC North.
I mean, I said it last week, Mark. Thank you.
I gotta buy in.
I don't believe it.
I
don't even believe they're the second best.
I don't.
All right.
I don't
You
believe
stink.
it right now, but I
don't know
definitely can believe it. I could.
I don't know.
I'm not poo-pooing it.
It's just like, even their losses. Like, they had the one to the Packers where there were 5 consecutive missed field goals. Like, it was just an absolute shit show of a game. And then one bad game against the Bears. Like,
that was a game to be fair. The Bears had no business winning that game. They just got lucky that Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions on 3 straight pass attempts.
Yeah, it was like both of their losses are very fluky. And like, this is a team that we could be talking about in the same conversation as Arizona right now. Like, wow, these two these are the 2 7-0 teams. They just beat the doors off the Ravens.
They did. They just
like
beat the doors
off the Chargers.
So
doors off the Chiefs.
I can't definitively say I believe it. Now, if you want to use the whole transitive property bit, they just beat the Ravens, so use that as you wish. Now, I'll use this to springboard into my believe it or not. Believe it or not, there's at least half a dozen teams in the AFC that could play in the Super Bowl this year.
That's kind of what my yeah. They're all mid levels.
The way I look at it now, I see 5.
Who's that? Buffalo, Baltimore, LA, the Bengals, and the Raiders?
No, the Titans.
Oh, the Titans. You think they've come around?
They're yes. I
Austin,
think they've
do you
come around.
believe it or not?
I absolutely believe it.
So here are the teams that I'm thinking. Buffalo. These are all teams that, in a bizarro world, could get hot and win the fucking Super Bowl. It's the way that I've seen it so far this season, or at the very least, go to the Super Bowl. Right?
Yeah.
I think, obviously, Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City still. right? Those were the three that we assumed.
I'm out on Kansas City.
Those were the three that we assumed coming into the season, right?
Mhm.
So the Chargers are one of them, right?
Yep.
The Raiders, I think, have gotten themselves back into that discussion.
Yeah.
I think the Titans cannot be out of this discussion.
No.
After what they've done the last 2 weeks to Buffalo and Kansas City back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I think in this situation, you have to put the Bengals in there.
Mm-hmm.
When
That's likely. That's to be clear. That's 7 teams. That's a playoff field.
Yeah.
That's how many teams get playoff spots in the AFC.
I think everyone's asking themselves this. Zach, when do you quit on the Chiefs? I've quit on the Chiefs. Mark has. How about you?
I quit on the Chiefs when the data tells me I should quit on the Chiefs, and it still doesn't.
What's it telling you now? What's it tell you after a 27-3 loss? What more do you need to see in the first quarter?
What it's telling me, and were we talking about this before Josh came back? Is that why he's doing this?
I didn't know anything.
Because Austin and I were talking about this earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Basically, what the data tells me is that pretty much nothing has changed with the Kansas City offense. They've just gotten horrendously unlucky this season, mostly in the turnover department. So throughout Mahomes' first 3 years in the league as a starter, he was the luckiest quarterback in the NFL in terms of tip passes that didn't become interceptions. This season, he's had 3 of them already, which is more than anybody else. There's also been another pass that's been tipped at the line of scrimmage that's been turned into an interception, and multiple diving, super crazy, oh my God, he dove and caught it kind of interceptions. So that's part of it. The other part of it is you can check. I've said it a bunch of times over and over again, is the true deficiency in Pat Mahomes' game, and no quarterback is perfect. So I've said it for years that Pat Mahomes does have a weakness, and it's a pretty glaring one. It's this fact that when the pocket collapses, his first instinct is to move backwards, not to move forward. Not like someone like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers immediately moves forward in that situation. They immediately step up, right? A quarterback like Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, they immediately go to the sides. They try to find a different lane out. Pat Mahomes moves backwards and still tries to make the throw. Austin said he's got a little bit of Carson Wentz syndrome in that sense of he refuses to take a dead play, right? So in looking at that kind of data, you can look at a couple of different stats to tell whether or not his tendencies have changed in those situations. That's average time to throw. That is where he targets places on the field. For example, if he's targeting more places on the outside, that likely means that he's just throwing balls errantly for no reason. And those numbers, they're a more efficient offense than they were the last couple of years. They are 8th in the NFL in points per game, and still first, even with all these turnovers, still first in points per drive. All of these numbers tell me that the offense hasn't changed. Arguably, it's gotten more efficient. It's just gotten very, 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 very unlucky. Now, at some point, sure. At some point, if the losses keep surmounting and there's 6 games under 500 or whatever, then yeah, I have to quote unquote give up on them for this season. I'm not even entertaining the whole Pat Mahomes is done, Chiefs suck.
Oh, no.
I saw people on Twitter saying Andy Reid needs to be fired. Those people need to be shot. How about that? But until that happens, we're week 7. They're 1 game under 500. And what are we gonna do if they just turn around and win their next 6 and have an average margin of victory of 24 fucking points? Is anyone gonna look sideways?
I would. I'd be shocked. This team stinks.
I'd be surprised as well. There's one team in the AFC that's given up more points than them, and that's the Dolphins.
The
They've
defense
given-
is a whole different question.
Yeah, that's why I'm out on
Defense is
them.
an entirely different question.
I'm not out on their offense. I think their offense will turn it around. I think their defense is bottom 3.
It's actually bottom 1.
Is it the worst in the NFL?
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's their defense
Let me guys
actively
ask you
loses
this.
them games.
What happened on Sunday, November 8th, 2020?
The
I
Chiefs
don't know
played
what
somebody.
happened on Sunday.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the New Orleans Saints 38-3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then they proceeded to lose to Los Angeles Rams and the Chiefs 2 out of the next 3 weeks, losing 3 out of the next 4. And everyone said, wow, this is not a Super Bowl team. Why
Yeah.
can't the same thing happen? The defense
not
for
saying it
Tampa Bay
can't.
looked terrible in that stretch. They gave up 38, 23, 30, and 30.
And then they became the best defense in the league. But
Not
I
even.
mean,
They gave up 30 the next 3 of the next 4 weeks.
But
they became a good turnover defense and had a good playoffs. They actually were not a very good defense down the stretch.
run defense, no.
Sure.
Run defense.
Not a
Yeah,
good defense, though.
half the defense.
Yes,
things
that's
are
just
winning.
half the defense.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think it's the saddest thing. I'm ready to admit it already, and I think it's sad because I hate the Bills so much that I was hoping that the Chiefs dynasty would last for 50 years, to be honest with you, or 10 years at least until someone else would take over, not the Bills. I'm ready to call it quits on the Chiefs being the dominant reign in the AFC. I think Kelsey's old. He's not. He's getting injuries are catching up. Their run game's pathetic.
Not even hurt. He's also only
Mahomes-
31.
Nobody's
Yeah,
hurt,
he's
actually.
done. Mahomes
Kel-
is
Kelsey is playing hurt, by the way.
That's
He's
right.
still
Thank you,
playing,
Mark.
but he is playing hurt.
He
Thank
hurt
you,
his
Mark.
hand 2 weeks ago. It hasn't affected him not one bit.
Mahomes being
Sure, go off.
unlucky based
Go
on
off.
stats. I mean, what are we talking about? I have to hope that his luck turns around and he becomes better.
Yeah, because
I'm not
that's how
buying it.
fucking stats work, Josh.
What do you
Eventually,
mean?
things return to the mean. That's how literally anything in baseball
you
is
said
ever
the mean.
determined.
Sure, great. So the mean throughout the first 2 years of his career was he's the luckiest ever. So he's destined for unluckiness for a year at least. I'm
Okay,
I'm
so
ready to call
even
it
if
out.
he's unlucky for a year, he's just done. They're done. They're done.
No,
One
Mahomes can still
bad
be good.
season, they're done.
You
One
just said the
bad
dynasty's
game
over.
stretch, and
Yes.
they're done.
The dynasty is over. I'm ready
That-
to call it.
Makes literally no fucking sense. But sure, yeah.
Josh, you're not having a good show, Josh.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's how I feel. I don't think we'll be talking about the Chiefs being a contender for much longer this year. I think people will let them die off into the wind soon. That's where I'm at.
That's
Who,
fine. You know,
who left has yet to go? Is it you,
Me.
Josh? Cool.
Believe
do you
it.
have to say?
Here's why. Believe it or not, it doesn't matter who makes it to the AFC Super Bowl because the NFC is going to win no matter what. That's my believe it or not. The NFC is the better conference, far and away in my mind.
They got one team that's better than everyone.
I actually think the opposite. I don't know. I don't
What?
like the NFC.
Yeah, I don't like the NFC at all.
The NFC's
What are we
got like
talking
so the NFC has got like
The Cardinals, the Packers, the Bucks, the Cowboys, all teams that I rank in a higher echelon than any of the AFC teams that you just mentioned.
I don't think the Packers are higher than the Bills, I'd say the Chargers. I don't think they're a better team than the Chargers. I don't think they're a better team than the
I don't know that-
Bengals or the Ravens.
The bet.
all right. Well, I don't agree with that, Mark. But
I think the Cardinals are overrated too. I'm just gonna put
Alright.
that out there.
Don't believe it, and we move on.
I'm all in on the Cardinals. I'm not sold
think
on the Packers.
The NFC is just top heavier. I think the NFC has just a bunch of dog teams. A
does
bunch
anybody
of
know what the
dogs.
hell they're showing on SportsCenter right now? This dude just coming in and saving a kid at home
I
base.
think the whole NFC East is a dog conference. Like
Is that-
they have three
is that
teams
for the
who
Giants?
could be the
Yeah,
worst
Mark,
teams
tell me
in
what's
the league.
happening here.
That's JT
That's Dusty
Snow.
Baker?
It's Dusty Baker's son. Darren Baker was the bat boy, and JT Snow is pulling him out of the way so he doesn't get run over by whoever was coming home. Dusty Baker did manage that team though.
Interesting. I like the palpable tension that's
Josh,
here that's
go
being
off,
broken
man.
by Connor just slapping plates together. It's
Yeah, I don't know
makes for
what's
truly great podcasting.
Well, I just unmuted myself like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, and it's very noticeable.
Well, there's a big ass fan near me. You know, I've been muted this entire time. Figured I'd try to get as far away from possible, but fuck it, right?
You got something to say or?
No, man.
Okay.
Just hate this shit, man. Wanted to be a part of the show, but life gets in the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know what the hell's happening here anymore.
I'm here, just in spirit. Oh
Thanks,
yeah.
man.
What are we doing? It was a fucking FanDuel thing now.
Yeah, we gotta do FanDuel.
This show sucks. All right.
Oh, okay.
Generally speaking, this podcast is terrible.
I broke Nunez. I questioned his stats, and now the show is dead.
No,
I
it's
don't
just.
disagree. I'm sorry.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I'm not even trying to be combatant tonight. I'm fully sober. I'm just saying my takes.
No, and I get it. It's just like I don't know.
I stopped listening to him after he said Katie was overrated.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't catch a word.
That's fair. It's just I don't know, man. Anyways, FanDuel, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Everybody got the lineups in. We mixed that up. Did I say? I said last week's results, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Who wants to go first with the FanDuel lineups this week?
I'll go, I guess.
Mark, who's the sponsor for your FanDuel lineup? That's the real question.
This FanDuel lineup is sponsored by Topps. Since I looked at 1,000 baseball cards earlier, this is
I thought you were talking about Topps, the grocery store.
No, Topps sports cards.
Mark, do they have a Topps grocery store in Syracuse, New York?
They have multiple.
Do they? Okay, I didn't know how far it reached out.
Yeah, no. When it was PNC, there was a huge PNC plant like 15 minutes from my house.
PNC, as in the Pittsburgh Pirates ballpark?
No, before it was Topps, it was a store called PNC.
Oh, okay.
I
wouldn't know, to be fair. But anyways, Mark, what's your lineup?
So yeah, my top of the standings lineup of the week. I hate myself.
That was a good one, honestly.
My stack, I can't stand. I went with Daniel Jones and Dante Pettis.
Oh God.
Oh.
Oh my God.
That shows how little faith I have in the Chiefs defense.
Jesus.
Also, you never know. Dante Pettis might just throw a touchdown pass to Daniel Jones, and then we get the we get the double.
The same stats that you would get if Daniel Jones threw a touchdown to Dante Pettis. Just flip.
But it's much cooler the other way around.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
I hate my stack so much.
Yeah, I hate it for what it's worth. For what it's worth.
My two running backs, I've got Joe Mixon against the Jets. Even I was shocked by how bad the Jets looked last week.
Dude,
let's
pause on that for a second.
54 points to that Patriots team?
Pats, who did I say it last week on this show or the radio show that like Bill Belichick's coaching style is actively holding the Patriots back?
That was us on the radio last week.
Yeah. Well, and then they came out and hung 50 on the Jets, so
like
what do I know, right?
And I feel like Joe Mixon is always a solid option. Then I've got Zach Moss because he seems to be the main running back the Bills go to when they want to get in the end zone. And I think they're just going to stomp the Dolphins again. So I like the value there at 6,100. Wide receiver, I've got two guys at 8,200. I've got Jamar Chase also playing the Jets, coming off a 200-yard week. I don't expect that to drop that much against the Jets. And I've got Tyreek Hill because the Giants defense is also terrible. And I think that's going to be a decently high scoring game. Tight end, I've got the newest Arizona Cardinal, Zach Ertz. The guy is still good. The Eagles shouldn't have traded him. I'm very sad he's gone. Flex spot, I've got Aaron Jones against the Cardinals. Nunez, you mentioned it earlier. before we were recording, the Cardinals' run defense is not very good. And Devontae Adams now has COVID, so I think it's going to be the Aaron Jones show this week. And my defense is the Washington football team because, as always, defense doesn't matter.
That's true.
Second that, brother.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. Although I did try to wedge in the Bengals defense this week. They're way too expensive for me to ever try to pick them, but they're playing the Jets, and it's likely going to be Mike White starting this upcoming week.
Former Dallas Cowboy.
Really?
That
Yeah,
guy
he
plays
was
for the
drafted by
Cowboys?
them in the 5th round. Well, I never played.
Oh,
He was drafted in the 5th round back in 2017, something like that.
I thought you were going to say
White was until
2011.
I want to say it was
Yesterday.
2017 because I remember being like, "This is the guy. This is the guy I got to root for to take Dak's job. This is him."
And then it became Ben
Have you turned
DiNucci.
that leaf yet?
On the hating Dak.
Yeah.
It's tough because whenever we watch games, my dad's like a huge Dak guy, and then anytime he gives a turnover up, I'm like, "Big Dak guy, that's your guy." So it's still fun to go at him. I'm probably gonna have to change at some point here, but I don't know.
Well, you've shown that you're capable of change with your Steph Curry.
It's kind of that's true. That's true. It's kind of like if me and Tony were married though, or like Tony was my father, right? And he was married to someone, and then my whore mom divorced him and now brought in Dak Prescott, and now I have to like Dak Prescott, and I'm like, screw you, buddy. I like my dad. You're not my dad. You know?
That was a tortured metaphor, but I get where you were going. With
yeah.
That. Josh, why don't you go next with your FanDuel lineup this week?
So my lineup's brought to you by Trojan, because you better hope that it wears a rubber when it fucks you this week. Okay. And
God. Dude, can I even put this episode out? What the hell is going on?
This episode can never be released.
What is going on? Oh, God.
I'm going to take the blame for this going off the rails when I yelled "fuck you" at Nunez for Giver for Death Slammer.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm going to take credit.
I also went for a stack here, Mark. I would be lying if I didn't see Daniel Jones at first and go, 7,300? But no, I went with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stack. He's got a big old butt buddy. They touch tips, Connor. Those two, way back in the day at LSU, they touch tips.
They definitely touch tips.
100%. So they're big time. Running back, I went. Thanks, Connor. Running back, I went with Darrell Henderson Jr. I think Chase Edmonds ran for like 80 yards on this defense, and then James Conner went and ran for another 8. Like they just ate up Houston's defense last week. I like him. DeAndre Swift is not only the wide receiver one on his team, but he also gets to run the ball sometimes, and so that's nice. I went with him as well. Two guys that I think at some point have to play better. Like Stephon Diggs is a guy who I'm targeting in fantasy leagues because I'm like, he's played too low to what he is right now, and like it should get better at some point. I picked him against Miami. And then Amari Cooper is another guy who I think he's 6,900, which is just a very short price for him. CeeDee Lamb was like 7,900 or something, and I was like, that seems like a high disparity, but I get it, I guess. At tight end, I went a little cheap this week, but some guy who's gotten some sneaky targets in the last 2 weeks, Hunter Henry, becoming maybe a favorite red zone target for Mac Jones nowadays. And at flex,
4 straight games with a touchdown.
That's right. The defense doesn't matter. I went with the Giants, hoping for one of those turnovers again from the Chiefs.
So, you know what's funny?
What's that?
I think this is so. The spread for that game is 10, by the way. The Monday night game.
Yeah.
I feel like it should probably just be like 40 or something like that. Like this is the setup. We just talked about this whole bit, right? Now they get to play a terrible defense and an offense that's not going to challenge anybody because the Giants can't fucking score points.
Yeah.
Not to shit on your Daniel Jones stack, but it's bad.
Oh no, it's very bad. I hated it when I put it in.
Like this is the perfect. This is.
Can I change it?
I'm gonna have to change my tune if the Chiefs don't come out and clobber the Giants on Monday night. Let's just put it that way. All right.
Yeah, that's fair. My flex spot, was Kadarius Toney for 5,500, assuming he plays.
Yeah.
That was all I had left at that point, and it's a little stiff down there, but I guess I could find someone else.
Well, and if he plays, he seems to be very good at football, for what it's
And
worth.
he's the only target there, so that's great.
Yeah.
Again, him
True.
and DJ.
Austin, what about you?
All right, my stack of the week: Dakota and Amari. Dakota and Amari in a game that I think is going to be high scoring. This was my game stack. I went with Justin Jefferson. He's got a high A dot, and Trayvon Diggs can't guard people with high A dots, so I think that'll be good for him. My running backs: Zach Moss, Joe Mixon. Mark, those are my two running backs as well. I don't have to go too deep into those. Mark already elaborated that. My flex: Darrell Henderson. Just a great game script. They should just be winning the whole game. He gets 20 touches a game. I mean, what else can you say? My third receiver, A.J. Brown, again, off of a couple good weeks, and he seems to be back and healthy and not, pooping his pants anymore. No more poopy pants, A.J. Brown.
Food poisoning from Chipotle.
And Indy's defense, I'm not convinced they have a good defense. I know they played good this week in the monsoon. They played a good first half against Baltimore, then looked like the worst defense in the league in the second half. I don't know what to say. So, and then punting, tight end, and defense, I'm going with a guy who's had 5 targets every game he's played for this team. I'm going with Dan Arnold for Jacksonville against Seattle. Seattle stinks. Okay, let's just be honest. Without Geno Smith, that team. Yeah. They did just shut down the Saints.
They did.
No, I just love the disdain in Austin's voice saying that statement.
You know what's funny? I'm sorry to cut you off. Austin, why don't you finish? Yeah. Who's your defense?
Oh, my defense against team fumbles. I'm going Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions against the Eagles. No Miles Sanders. This is going to be a disaster of a week.
Mm-hmm. So, you know what's funny about what the hell were we just talking about? Oh, Dan Arnold. What was I talking about before that?
No, it was after that. We were talking about the Seahawks and shutting down the
Seahawks and Saints game. So, you know what's funny? I've long held the opinion that the Seahawks can't possibly play a normal game of football.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still kind of true.
It's still very true.
But the Saints have entered that territory. The Saints are the most chaotic team in football this year, and it's not particularly close.
I said that like week 2.
Oh, I know.
It was like...
And I don't... We're 7 fucking weeks into the season, and I don't know what to make of the New Orleans Saints still.
No clue.
Tonight sure as hell didn't help. They put up 13 points against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Anyways, all right. We gotta go with my FanDuel lineup here. The JBL jabroni lineup of the week. Yeah, I pulled that one out, right? My game stack is also the Sunday Night Football game, but instead of Austin, I took the opposite side of it. I went with Captain Kirk Cousins, and Adam Thielen, mostly because I have a feeling that Trayvon Diggs is probably going to be – I don't know how he stands in terms of shadowing receivers, and I don't quite know where Justin Jefferson lines up. But my assumption is that when they're both outside, Trayvon Diggs is going to be on Justin Jefferson. Might leave a little easier coverage open for Adam Thielen. Who knows, right? Kind of touchdown dependent. But still, I have hopes that this game could be a little high scoring, which is why I ran it back with Amari Cooper. The thing that scares me the most about this game is that both of these teams have the same mindset, in the fact that, like, if they could combine for 35 pass attempts and still score 60 combined points between the two, they would. Like, if they just had the opportunity to combine for 400 rushing yards and like 5 touchdowns on the ground between the two teams, they would gladly do that. Neither of these teams are interested in throwing the ball if they don't have to. So I have a fear of that for the game script. I tried to get Zeke in here, and I couldn't really finagle it. So I still think that there's a lot to like fantasy-wise in the game, but that is immediate trepidation on my part. So I didn't go with another game stack. I probably should have, but I didn't. Anyways, Aaron Jones is also in my lineup, plays Arizona this week. They give up a lot of yards on the ground. Technically speaking, according to FanDuel points, they're 11th against running backs, but that's because they haven't. It's a couple of things. They give up a lot of yards per carry, and when teams are in the red zone, they tend to punch it in on the ground. But they've been beating teams up so bad this year that they've faced some of the lowest volume in terms of rushing against them this year. Green Bay is probably going to change that. I'm also going to go with Darrell Williams against the Giants on Monday night. Giants run defense, poo-poo stinky. And the Chiefs are good at football. At the very least, good at scoring the football. Unless you're the Tennessee Titans, who the hell knows, right? What else? My third receiver, freshly activated off of the IR. I'm going with Jerry Jeudy against this Washington defense. Washington defense sucks. All right. I wanted to get Antonio Gibson in there, but I'm genuinely because Denver's run defense is bad. But I'm genuinely terrified about the fact this man is playing with a broken leg.
For real.
So like actually,
I don't know what he's doing.
I'm gonna go with Jerry Jeudy and just leave it at that. This man had 6 for 72 in like less than 3/4 of football in week 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And got hurt, and now he's back. And Washington defense sucks. So go Jerry Jeudy, right? My tight end, Dallas Goedert. Is he the number 1 target for Jalen Hurts? I don't know. And even if he is, he probably won't throw it accurately more than 3 times. But Zach Ertz is gone, so he might get like 8 targets, and they play the Lions. So, I'd like to have more optimism for a guy I pay $6,000 for at tight end, but who the hell knows? My flex is Joe Mixon. They're a team that likes to play slow, would like to run the ball if they are able to. And guess what? They're going to be able to this week.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Mixon might have like 30 carries this week. I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
He might have a Derrick Henry workload. And then that leaves me with 4,200 left for the Tampa Bay defense. A defense I still think is talented. But not their secondary.
That's bad.
The secondary is bad. But you know who they play this week? Famous Jameis in his first start against his old team.
Oh boy.
He's
Is
got
it in
something
Tampa?
to prove.
No, it is not in Tampa, unfortunately.
Damn, the homecoming's gonna be like, you know what? Jameis Winston next week is my gonna throw an interception pick. Because that dude's gonna come out trying to ball.
Oh yeah. Well, so this is part of what makes the Saints so weird is that like they're still kind of trying to do the same offensive tendencies they had last year, but now instead of Jameis having 24 pass attempts a game where he throws it at a 4-yard A-dot, the limited pass attempts he's getting, he's trying his absolute hardest to be his normal aggressive Jameis self.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's fucking weird, man.
We might be looking at 404-4 for Jameis against Tampa Bay. Like,
if that's the case, I should fire up Jameis Winston's FanDuel lineups. But
I should fire up this pipe next to me. It's
okay.
Jameis Winston.
I had Jameis Winston as my fantasy quarterback 2 years ago when he went 30-30. You know what's fun about that? Still finishes a top 5 fantasy quarterback that year.
Mm-hmm.
So, interceptions hurt to an extent. They don't kill you. You know? I don't know, man. Anyways, those are our FanDuel lineups. We're 90 minutes in. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right? Respect.
This show's off the rails.
Well, we got it back on the rails. All right?
That's right.
Tension has been released.
There's a man in the gym that's on this call.
He's on the Stairmaster.
Can I, it's the
run into his chow.
elliptical.
Yeah, it's got to be an elliptical. Yeah.
Elliptical? Okay.
I think I got something that can bring us all together in hatred towards one person. There was one person named to the AP All-American team for college basketball unanimously. One person. Anyone got a guess?
The
Maybe.
preseason All-American team?
Correct.
I don't
Austin,
know
maybe. Do
much
you have a
about college
guess?
basketball, so
I don't know any college basketball players.
Was it Buddy
Yes, you do.
Boeheim?
No, it was not. Austin, you sure as
Is
hell
it that
do know.
7-footer from Gonzaga?
Timmy!
oh,
Drew
it's not.
Timmy.
It's not the 7-foot like
No,
alien
not
looking
that kid.
freshman.
No,
No.
it was the mustache wearing,
Timmy.
headband riding.
That guy
loser.
sucks.
Yes.
I
And he is
hate
the unanimous AP All American.
Wow.
Oh,
Guy's
man,
pretty
you
good.
gotta hate it.
All right.
No.
I don't hate it. I like him.
Oh my god.
No.
Nothing will bring us together. Nothing will bring us together.
All right.
Are we all rooting for the Braves in the World Series?
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
Okay,
Connor's
that's
out.
what brings us together.
Connor's an
Connor's
Astros
out.
guy.
I don't know.
God
I'm
damn.
kind of like, I don't know. There's some heel turn in me sometimes where I just root for the Astros just so they win without cheating, so everyone can just go, well, maybe they were actually good the whole time.
Yeah,
But-
well, this is the thing. Like,
Which they were.
I don't hold the animosity against the Astros. It's just like I have a physical aversion to watching Jose Altuve be happy. All right,
That's the type
I
of hatred
genuinely
understand.
don't like seeing him succeed.
I
That's,
Yeah, I can imagine
that's
if
about where it ends.
My
for me.
That's
team
me with
lost to
Carlos
cheating
Correa.
Astros. Like, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now, that's something I can get behind. I get that.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
just
vitriol
It's the
hate.
only bit of animosity I still hold towards that team.
yeah
It's like
that
I genuinely hate Jose Altuve.
I genuinely hate Carlos Correa.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Hmm
I want to just say I genuinely hate someone, so I genuinely hate Carlos Jordan Alvarez.
Carlos
him.
Delgado.
There's no reason to hate Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah, he was raking. I hate him.
He wasn't even
Yeah.
in the majors at that point, right?
No.
I hate Jordan Alvarez.
All
I
right.
said it.
Austin, do you have one?
I hate I hate Garrett Cole. Does that count?
That counts.
That
Yeah,
kind of
close
counts a
enough.
little bit. Connor,
Yeah,
who do
close
you
enough.
hate? We're all
What are we
just,
talking about here?
we're all
Uh,
just
Yeah,
saying
Astros.
people that we
Oh.
hate. Who do you hate?
Oh, just hating people that we hate.
Yeah.
Josh Bohin.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Tell us who you hate. There it is.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not.
That's good.
We're not doing that again. No. No. All right. Well,
Hands at best.
it's time to get out of here, mercifully, so I can go to bed because we got a radio show to do in 8 hours, baby. Anyways, I hope you listened to Hot Stove on WQAQ this morning, and you listen to it every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on 9 a.m. Eastern, WQAQ. Follow us on Twitter at Hot Stove Pod. Here on the YouTubes, like, subscribe, notification bell, comment. For the four of these guys, I'm Zach Nunez. We'll see you next week when hopefully we have some semblance of a normal show. Bye.
Eh.
Peace.